We're getting comfy here today, folks. Today I'm drinking a venti passion tango iced tea lemonade from Starbucks, but I do half lemonade and half water because I don't love the pungent, is that the right word? Pungentness of the lemonade. I don't love lemonade, so a little bit is good, but I don't like too much. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sydney. I'm a perinatal athletic therapist and postnatal fitness specialist. If you've never seen my face before, or you have never heard of a perinatal athletic therapist or postnatal fitness specialist, essentially what I do is I assist women through their perinatal journey somewhere, whether that be preconception, pregnancy, labor and delivery prep, postpartum recovery, and I essentially help them modify their activities so they can continue doing the things that they love to do and then get them back to their activities that they love after they've had a baby, as well as just kind of monitoring their symptoms and helping them with their discomforts along the way. Today, I want to talk about something that I feel like is just not talked about enough. We're going to talk about my preconception and the things that I'm doing to prepare for pregnancy. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Sid, you are not pregnant. You have not told us that you're pregnant, and I promise I'm not pregnant. But I also don't know when I'm going to be pregnant, and it could be, it's one of those things that, you know, when you get to a certain point in your life, you're like, it could kind of be any time. So why not be over prepared for it than under prepared? And I understand that's totally unconventional and super weird to prepare so much for pregnancy and postpartum when you don't even have an exact idea of when you're going to be pregnant. But like I said, I treat so many women throughout their perinatal journey, and so many, not just women, but couples who feel underprepared or missed so many things that they're like, I wish I would have just done that. So I have essentially collected ideas and different things from people that I treat or just from things that I do with my patients to prepare myself as much as possible for conception, and then, like I said, hopefully also postpartum. I know that was a super long-winded introduction, but I feel like I needed to explain myself a little bit more there. But anyways, here we are. Come and get comfy with me. I'm just sitting on the couch with a blanket and my drink, and in a second, my dog. Yeah, take your time. Take your time. Oh, okay. That was very graceful. Come chill with me and let's just chat for a little bit. I've written down about 7 things that I have been doing or will hopefully start doing soon to help to prepare myself for conception and or labor and delivery and or postpartum. And these are just things that I feel like I needed to start earlier, especially the things I'm doing already. I feel like I needed to start them earlier just based off of kind of what they are. And like I said, I see so many women go through this process, and it honestly, from an outsider's perspective, the 9 months goes by so extremely fast, and I feel like it's just hard to get everything in those 9 months. So starting things a little bit earlier, especially things that just take time, are things that I have started doing actually a long time ago. All right, the first thing. I have talked about my hormone journey on this page a couple times already. I have posted a full video all about my hormone journey. I will tag it below if you want to go watch it. Essentially, long story short, I had a bunch of hormone issues and dysregulation that caused all kinds of wacky symptoms for me. I was not ovulating the way that I should have been. I was so uncomfortable all the time. I was told that I potentially would have a hard time getting pregnant if I didn't sort of fix what was going on. So I've spent probably the last 4 years working on my hormone health so that hopefully when the time comes that there won't be as many problems with conception, and especially when it comes to hormone regulation throughout pregnancy and things like that, that everything will just be where it needs to be all the levels will be where they need to be, and I can just carry on a normal, most normal as possible pregnancy. So if you would like to watch that video, I talk all about my symptoms. I talk about the process that I went to get diagnosed. All that kind of stuff is going to be in that video. So that's number one, was just getting my hormones in check. Like I said, that was a very, very, very long process for me. It probably won't be for everybody, but for myself personally, it was an extremely long process. But that also kind of comes down to my habits, my personal lifestyle. Just everyone is different, right? So just because you also have a hormone regulation issue, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to take as long for that to be sorted out. I don't want that to be the message that you're getting from me. Just see the practitioners that you need to see and get that sorted out in the way that works best for you. The second item on my list is also going to be a little unconventional and probably pretty weird to some of you, but postpartum things are expensive. When it comes to nursing bras, when it comes to leak-proof underwear and postpartum underwear, when it comes to just like clothes that are more comfortable postpartum, all those kinds of things, that stuff is expensive. And I'm not gonna wait until halfway through pregnancy to try to figure out and scrounge up some money to be able to buy the things that I know are going to make me more comfortable postpartum. So one of the things that I have purchased pre-conception is some leak-proof high-waisted underwear. These are from Knix. I love Knix. I wear their underwear on a regular basis. I honestly do not wear any other company's undergarments. I only wear Knix, but I don't always wear the leak-proof stuff, obviously. So these are the French cut high-waisted medium leak-proof, I think. I will also tag these below, but these are so flipping comfortable. And I'm not even kidding you. I would wear these all the time right now. They hug the tummy so nicely. They make everything seem just like so comfortable. And this is not even the most compressive underwear that they have. They have some that kind of go down the thigh as well, so they're more like boy shorts. They have some that are a little bit more full coverage. They have some that are even higher waisted. They have so many options. So I have a couple pairs of these because I love this style. And then I have a couple thongs that are also leak proof, which I probably wouldn't use right immediately postpartum, but even just the fact that they're a little bit leak proof gives you a little bit of extra support in that way. These are also great for anyone who is experiencing leakage, especially postpartum. You don't know what kind of symptoms you're going to have from pelvic floor trauma, from emotional trauma. You have no idea what your symptoms are going to be. So if by chance I experience incontinence or leakage, I can also wear these for that. But my thought process for these was to wear these a little bit more immediate postpartum so that I have that extra support on my tummy just to make it a little bit more comfortable. And then also just the extra support from the leak proof pad on the inside. And it honestly feels like you're wearing just regular underwear. I will also put some of my favorite postpartum items for women below, and some that I don't have yet, but that are on the way that I will be getting very soon. So I'm just looking at the Knix website right here because I want to make sure I get the names right. So they have many different grades of leak proof. They have super, they have light, they have medium. There are some new ones that are called, let me just find it here. So they have some full coverage super leak proof, which are, you can get them in high-waisted, you can get them in bikini, you can get them in a couple different types there, and boxer as well. The ones that I recommend the most for postpartum are, there's the Zones Plus Ultra Leak Proof High Rise, and then there's also the Zones Plus Ultra Leak Proof Bikini. So those are a couple that would be amazing to use postpartum. They just kind of hug everything in. They give you a little bit of that compression, but they also give you that leak proof support. So you don't have to use as many of the pads and all those kinds of things They're non-toxic, they're better for the planet, and all that stuff. I have a code that you guys can use if you would like to purchase your own or anything else from the Knix website. The code is just _your perinatal AT, and that gives you 15% off of your order of $120 or more. The next thing that I've been doing for pretty much the whole time I've been working on my hormones is I have a notebook that has all of the information in it when it comes to what I've been doing in terms of my hormone journey. It will have things like week by week, the symptoms I experienced during pregnancy. It will have like hopefully some notes when it comes to the exercises I've been doing, the way I've been feeling, the foods I've been eating, all that kind of stuff. And this is partially for me to look back on, but also partially so that I can use it to help other people, just kind of in the things that I did that worked really well for me, so other people can also try those things. And I've talked to you guys on this page before that I just really want this page to end up becoming a place where I can talk about the real things that happen during pregnancy and the discomforts and the totally not glamorous side of pregnancy, or the glamorous side of pregnancy. I mean, depending on how my pregnancies go. But then that way I can kind of go through this notebook and read off sort of the symptoms day by day, or the symptoms week by week of how I've been feeling and the things that have really been helping me. So this journal, I guess diary, has been something I've been writing in mainly just when I notice I have big symptoms. And I used it a lot more a few years ago, just as I was kind of going through my hormone regulation, correction, all that kind of stuff, and just writing down the things I was eating, how they were making me feel. When I was tracking how many cups of coffee I was drinking a day, I would write them in here. So everything is just kind of written in this book. I'm going to hopefully get a new one for pregnancy and delivery and postpartum and everything, so that it's all kind of just in one book, because I don't think this one's big enough. So I'm gonna have to get a much bigger notebook for when pregnancy actually happens. But yeah, that's that. Fourth item is exercising consistently, mainly with a focus on core and back stability, pelvic floor function, and hip mobility are the big areas that I'm working on. And I've been working on those for probably as long as I've been treating the perinatal population, which is about 4 years now. So, I mean, if you think about it, you do prehab, or most people would do prehab before they have a surgery. Like if you're getting a knee surgery, you would do prehab to strengthen up your muscles and to prepare yourself for post-op of that surgery. And it's the same thing with pregnancy and postpartum. Pregnancy is essentially the prehab. You're preparing for delivery, which is a whole marathon in itself, and then also preparing for postpartum. And essentially the general rule of thumb is the better you are when you go into it, the better you are when you come out. So the better I can be as we get closer to pregnancy and time for postpartum, hopefully the better and quicker and more comfortable I feel, and the quicker I recover postpartum. So that's kind of my thought process on that. Now, that's not to say that if you exercise and take care of yourself during pregnancy that everything will go perfectly, because that's just not the case for a lot of people. And I completely understand the potential for different outcome scenarios during labor and delivery. I completely understand the changes that your body goes through. And I also recognize that it's just not the case for some people, and it may not be the case for me. However, research shows us that the better prepared you are and the more in shape you are going into labor and delivery and postpartum, typically the better your outcome is as you enter postpartum, and typically the quicker you recover. So like I said, that may not be the case for everybody, and that's okay if it's not. but that's just what the research shows us, so that's what I'm gonna go off of. The next thing is also something that's kind of a little bit different, but I have been working on sort of mindfulness and doing some birth prep exercises that are more mind-based. So a lot of that is just learning to breathe through discomfort and getting myself into a head and mind space that is positive and kind of uplifting to myself and comforting to myself. The way I'm doing that, there's a couple different ways. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me post before about using ice cubes as a birth prep exercise. So essentially what you do is you hold ice cubes in your hands for a long period of time and you just breathe through the discomfort. And I'm probably up to I think I'm at 6 or 7 minutes of just holding ice cubes in my hands and breathing through that discomfort and just allowing the ice to melt in my hands. It's very uncomfortable. However, I've sort of learned to breathe through that. The other thing I do is I go to yin yoga 2 times a week. Well, I shouldn't lie. I would love to go 2 times a week. I don't always get there 2 times a week, but I go at least once every single week. And essentially what yin yoga is it targets the fascia in your body, which is the most uncomfortable area of your body to mobilize and to stretch. So you essentially get yourself into a position or a different pose and you hold that pose for a prolonged period of time. During this class, we sometimes hold certain poses for 5-6 minutes, and essentially you are to breathe through that discomfort. Try not to let your mind wander. Try to stay a little bit focused as to what you're doing. Focus on your breath. And I find that has been so helpful for me, and I love that practice so much. It's actually something that I recommend to every pregnant woman that I see because it is so helpful in just getting your mind into a really good mindset. And it kind of just, it trains your mind and it's fun and you feel good after. So those are just a couple of sort of mindfulness things that I've been working on in terms of birth prep. And the reason I've started that so early is because I just feel like 9 months is just not that much time. And if we're being honest, it's kind of 7.5 or 8 months when the average person finds out that they're even pregnant. So think about 7.5 months and then trying to build up your mindfulness while also being a little bit anxious, while also having so many other things on your mind that you're trying to get ready when it comes to the nursery and preparing for delivery and postpartum and all that stuff. So I decided to start this super early so that I can be super good at it by the time I'm even pregnant, and then hopefully I can just carry that through my pregnancy. Okay, we are at number 6. Number 6 is something I haven't done yet, but I would like to start it very soon. And I keep telling my husband, I want to start this soon. And it just hasn't happened yet, but we will work towards it. And that is to start training our dog for having a young child in the house. Our dog is very high energy, and I don't want to get to a point where, let's say halfway through pregnancy, we're like, crap, we should have trained him a little bit at least to kind of be respectful of the space in which the baby is in. Essentially, the plan is to get some sort of baby mat or blanket or something of the sort and train him that when that mat or blanket is on the floor, he is to be lying down or he is to be a certain distance away from it. We haven't exactly figured out exactly how we want to do it yet, but then that way when baby arrives, whenever baby arrives, he will already know that when that mat goes on the ground, he is to be lying down. And that will just make things a lot less anxious for us in putting the baby on the floor. Like I said, he's very high energy, and I don't want to all of a sudden lay baby on the floor and then he's jumping around. He's super excited to see the baby on the floor. So training him ahead of time for things like that are going to be super, super important, and to just make us feel better when it comes to bringing a baby home to a house that already has a dog in it who thinks that the whole home is run by him. And the other thing in terms of training a dog is this won't happen until like probably halfway through pregnancy, but walking with him with the stroller long before we actually have the baby, so that I know how he walks with the stroller. I can walk train him with the stroller, and that way when we have the baby's in the stroller, we all go for a walk together, we know how he acts with the stroller and he already is familiar with it, and that will just make that whole process so much easier. All right, very last thing. I have been educating my husband as much as I absolutely possibly can. And I've been doing this for probably like 6 or 7 years. He is well aware of the symptoms that I experience on a regular basis. He is well aware of how the female body works. I have talked to him about this many times. Does he care all that much? No, he doesn't. He does listen to when I talk to him about it though. And essentially, the goal with this is that I would like my husband to be as aware as possible of what is going to happen during pregnancy, the symptoms I will more than likely experience, the ways that he can help me, the things that are going to happen during labor and delivery, because I am someone who watches labor and delivery videos. I love them. I think they're wonderful. My husband, on the other hand, is not great with medical things. And so I think that just explaining to him ahead of time of the things that are going to happen, the things that I need him to do and that I need him to be prepared for, I think that will be very helpful for him in knowing sort of what's going to happen instead of walking into the situation. And I know that every single labor and delivery is different, and I can't 100% base my future delivery based off of something else. However, I've seen probably about 100 labor and delivery videos, and just taking all of those into consideration, I have a pretty good idea of sort of, this is what you can expect if this happens. Let's say I get an epidural. This is what you can expect. This is what I need from you at this point. Or even just the progressions of labor and stuff like that, that I feel like men are not aware of those things because they don't care as much, right? Because they're not the one going through it. They're there, but they're not the one who is actively going through that process. So they don't think about those things as much. I don't talk about these things with him nearly as much now, but I will during pregnancy. But even when it comes to just the way that my body works and the reason that I do a lot of the things that I do, like when he walks into the living room, he sees me sitting here holding a couple ice cubes in my hand, and he's like, what in the heck are you doing? It's important to me that he understands why it's important that I train my mindfulness and that I am prepared for birth in a mindful way. And so I just, especially because of my job too, he is well aware of a lot of the things that happen to a female body and the things that they may experience postpartum and all that kind of stuff. So I do not shy away from educating my husband, and I often give him more information than he wants. It's important to me that he knows what's going on. Another big thing that maybe some of you will want to consider as well, my husband has to be first aid and CPR certified before we have a child. And that is because I'm a first responder. I have been trained in situations where a child is choking, where a child is not breathing, where a child has a cut, all those kinds of things. And I need to know that if I'm not home and our child is choking, that he can handle it for my comfort and just decreasing my anxiety. If I'm not home, I need to know that you know how to handle those situations. Woo! Okay. My voice is starting to leave. Can you hear this? It's going. I don't know why. I've had a really, really big week at work and my schedule is super full and I've just been talking like crazy. So maybe that's why my voice is done. And it's a long weekend, so I'm just gonna take some time off and chill out a little bit. But I hope that this video kind of gave you some things to think about. Even if you are not even close to wanting to be pregnant or wanting to have a baby or whatever your case may be, hopefully this gave you a few things to think about. If you have had a baby or you've been pregnant and there are some things that you wish you would have done sooner or wish you would have done, etc., comment them below. And not just for me, for anyone who's watching this video, but also for me, because girl, if you're going to tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. If it pertains to preparing for conception and pregnancy and postpartum, I'm going to do it. You best believe I'm going to do it. So I know today was just a lot of talking and a lot of blibbity blab, but I hope that I gave you a bit of information here that is going to be helpful for you in wherever you're at in your perinatal journey. But that is all I wanted to chat about for today. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful long weekend, and I will chat with you guys soon. I'll wait for my dog here. You're blocking me in the camera, you camera hog. You are making so much noise. Hey, can you chill out, please? Going a little cray. Okay, I'm going to start this for the 4th time. Are you ready? Can you chill a little bit? Okay. To talk about